Well, welcome. It's another Friday night hangout. Um, what we do here is we discuss model airplane building, flying, events, so on and so forth. Charles had a whole spiel. I ain't got a spiel. I'm tired. So if you'd like to join us, you go to at the bench thread, and you got to be a member of Stunt Hangar to see that thread. Use your real first and last name when you register. And so we'll wait for some people to come in here. Let's see, we got Zoom. Here we go. There we are. I'll just work on my project here. Okay, so it's about an inch over. One, two, and the third. One, two, and the third one are about an inch over. Okay, we can do that. Two and about an inch over. One, two, three. One, two, three, and an inch. About. So I'm just waiting for somebody to come in and talk. Uh, Typical, typical hangout. Typical hangout. One, two, third over. There we go. Well, this tape has seen better days here. I better get a new roll. Throw this out. It's been run over hard. That must be a super old roll. See here. I think I'm going to take this trailing edge cap off of this and redo it, because the cap they gave me is less than the ribs and the sheeting. So just cut it off on the bandsaw and Glue a wider piece on it. Yeah. Hey, Gary.
Hello. Whoops. Coming right along.
Be ready for the gnats.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you? Yep, should be ready for the gnats. That was great. Oh well, ain't gonna worry about it right now. This place is so crapped up anyway.
It's hard. Even if you straighten it up and you start it again, you're right back, time to get your what you got to work with. And
Yep. Two. Well, I know guys that can keep their shop super nice, but I don't think
they
they're
just
getting
got,
as much work done as I am.
they just got a knack at it, I guess. Something like this.
How I knew the day was over when I was mechanicking is that all the tools were out of the box. So you get all the tools out of the box, then you put them back, and you're ready to go for the next day.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a hot week coming up around my area.
Pretty hot here today.
Yeah. It's coming our way.
You going to the Nats?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm going to the Nats. I know for sure for one day, but Danny's saying that we're going to get a motel room, but I didn't enter this year. I think I'm basically done entering the open. We don't have the weather here to practice, and without
Yeah.
practice,
That's right. Yeah.
I don't start really flying any good until the end of the season. And then it's not as good as them guys, you know, that have been flying all year anyway. What do you think of the remix that I did?
I liked it. That's neat. Yeah.
The
Nice.
song and the new video.
Yeah. It's something how you can do that, isn't it?
What's that?
It's something how you can do that. Get your song written like that.
AI is
Um,
amazing because I can't play anything. I can play the radio.
yeah.
I just wrote the outline, of the what I wanted to hear talk about, and it wrote the lyrics, and then I took the lyrics over to another program, and it wrote the music.
Oh my God. Hmm.
I bet if I threw in some pictures, it do the editing too. I don't think they're quite there with video, but if I did pictures, it would probably do it. I better get another blade here. It's kind of crapping out here. We're almost ready to start sanding. Yeah. This cutting and fitting is a bitch. I like the mindless sanding.
Still got your cap strips to put on?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just making this sheeting. I won't glue it on yet.
Okay. So you're sheeting the whole wing.
No, it's center
No.
section.
Oh, just, oh, okay. I got you there.
Just the center section. It's disappeared. Well, I got this big long one, I guess I can use. I guess nobody's coming in tonight.
No. I'll be still early, maybe.
I guess they're mad at me.
Hmm. Maybe they're still out flying.
Yeah. Oh,
We've had we've had wind and stuff, and you can't hardly.
yeah, we've had
Yeah,
wind and rain.
yeah, we've had that pop ups about every afternoon.
Dude, it's windy out there right now.
I'm calm here right now.
I guess
I mentioned to you about Morgantown getting the rain. Well, I guess Fairmont got what, 5 inches in an hour? They really got hit right there, and they're pretty close there to Morgantown. Man, can you imagine 5 inches an hour?
like turning on the fire hydrant.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, here comes some message. I need to turn this phone off. Okay. Are you watching this now, Will? It's $15 to the AMA and $15 at the site. So let me. $15 goes to the AMA and $15 goes to the site. But I'm not sure, they might charge you a late fee now.
here comes Howard.
Hi.
Hey, Howard, how are you doing?
Okay.
That's good.
Howard's phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you building, Howard?
Well, today I put a filter in the sprinkler system. That's not very exciting.
What color did you paint it? How much dope did you put on it?
Nothing yet, but I'll camouflage it. At least the pipes.
Oh, so it's on a pipe.
Yeah, it's on a pipe. It only leaks a little bit.
How's the weather up there in your area?
It's raining. Well, of
Oh,
course. It's
of
not
course.
raining right now. It's windy and the wind's blowing in the wrong direction, so I can't fly.
Um,
It's been that way a long time. Only had one good flying day in the last couple of weeks.
Well, that's one more than we got.
Oh,
When I flew the Brodak contest, that was my 4th flight of the year.
ah, oh, you're going to put in a curve there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you got a square corner, it causes big issues with tissue.
Um, yeah. Uh, but don't you have square corners on all the ribs?
Yeah, but they're rounded over pretty good.
Oh, they're rounded that way. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't use 1/4-inch cap strips. I use 3/16 cap strips.
Oh, that's radical.
No.
You're supposed to use quarter. Everybody uses quarter. Everybody knows you're supposed to use quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I thought I could get away with 8th, I would do 8th. Less weight.
Yeah.
If you do if you do
Much.
if you do 3/16 instead of quarter, it's like leaving a one whole wing panel off of cap strips.
Oh, well, same amount of glue.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you use for glue?
I use CA, but I try to use only a half a bottle. I know guys that will use 2 bottles, and I'll guarantee that it don't gas off. Whatever's on there, it stays on there.
Yeah.
And when you use epoxy, I try to wipe up the mess. I've seen some really crude stuff. When a plane will crash and I'll go over and let it. It's really crude.
Yeah.
The thing that happens mostly is the inside of the nose block or whatever is looked like it was gouged out with a chisel. It wasn't sanded. It's not uniform. I don't know whether you're an engineer. You might and you work for Boeing. You might understand this. You know about burnishing metal, right?
No, I don't know about that.
Well, when you make a metal rib or a part for an airplane, you take the side of the awl and you wick it back and forth and round it over. It's called burnishing.
Yeah.
And what that does is it keeps the metal from tearing there. If you have a break or the
It keeps it in compression.
right.
Yeah.
So I sand over like this compression spar. I round everything over, and I've seen some pretty crude stuff when people crash. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'll sweep up the airplane quick before you get there if I crash.
Yeah, I'm sure you build very well, Howard.
Is this the ultimate stunt ship?
What's that?
Hi, Bob.
Is this the ultimate stunt ship? I saw some reference to something being the ultimate stunt ship on one of your YouTubes.
Yeah, ain't AI great?
Oh,
I had a question for you, Bob, but I forgot it, of course, at my age.
oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I would have forgotten the answer too. So, you know.
Yeah, so I guess. Yeah, just,
No, I do not have any foam bricks for sale.
no, I've forgotten that. What's your kid up to?
Hey, he's downstairs doing something. I don't know what he's doing right now. Not building anything. He's flying. We were out flying. He's right back to where he always was. So,
Okay.
wish he'd get building.
He ought to go to the Nats, get his enthusiasm up, says the person who's maybe not going.
Hmm?
Yeah, he ought to go to the Nats.
Yeah, he can't. He's working.
He is working, I used to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found retirement feels very natural.
I agree.
It does, doesn't it?
I like it.
You work harder.
You work more. You don't get paid for it.
Hi, Philip.
Hey, how are you? You look good, Howard.
Hey Bob, you said the
Terrorist is in
ultimate,
the house.
Was
you
that?
said the ultimate stunt ship. Did you hear the song that AI wrote?
No.
Oh, it's great. Let me see if you can hear it.
AI wrote that?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
AI
neat.
wrote what I did was I typed in an outline of what I wanted to hear, and I put it in Chat GBT. So it wrote the lyrics. Then I took the lyrics and I put it into another program. It wrote the music, and then from there we put another AI program that the singing was done.
That's just how Jackson Brown does it.
Oh, that explains that. Yeah.
David Lindley.
Let me see if, I don't know that you can hear it over the speakers, but we'll try. It's cool. Let's see, where is it?
Pretty cool.
Let's see, Stunt Hangar Blues.
Stunt Hangar Blues. I wrote it.
Remember the Stuka Stunt Blues?
Yeah.
Tony Lang did it years ago.
Yeah.
No, I wrote something like once. It was the NSA, New Small Airplane. It was a program that we did with the Japanese, and Boeing kind of lost interest in it, especially after they merged with McDonnell Douglas because they had an airplane
Here we
kind of
go.
like we were designing, and we had a Christmas party, and one of the Japanese guys organized a band for the Christmas party. I played bass, so I wrote the NSA Blues, and the last verse. Well, the NSA is a joint program with the Japanese. I guess they said that. And
You guys hear that?
the last verse was Boeing's going to save money, going to build one in Mexico.
Boy, hear that, Bob?
All right.
Dream of days gone by, stunt hangar planes touch the sky. Control lines tight, the engine hums, crafting hardware, passion from stunt hangar, flying high, over craft the sky. Clouds wings we build with care, stunt hangar, join us there.
All I can say is AI, don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
The grain is just right. Every cut a spark of light.
I don't think it's bad.
It ain't bad. It's pretty cute when it comes on with his videos.
The last verse was of the NSA Blues was Boeing's going to save money, going to build them in Mexico. Boeing's going to save money, going to build them in Mexico. Forget about Pearl Harbor and remember the Alamo.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That wasn't AI though.
That wasn't AI, yeah.
No, that was just.
Oh, you guys are bad.
That's a 3-minute song that AI wrote.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's pretty cute.
Oh, they can play it on AM radio. It's a 3-minute song. Billy Werewich wrote a number of interesting songs on some of our trips on the way out to Tucson. Unfortunately, I really can't, and I remember some of the verses, but I really can't relate them here, unfortunately. Maybe at the after party.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. You're laughing so hard you had to stop.
We almost crashed a truck. I lost control of the truck at 85 miles an hour going between Amarillo and Albuquerque at 4 a.m. And he came out with a line that hit me so hard that I had lost control of the truck. We were screeching from one side of the road to the other. We stopped in the middle of the road. There was nobody coming for 400 miles in either direction. We got out and we were laughing so hard we were spitting.
He's humorous.
You can sing too.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Billy can sing too. He got to singing. I was at one of the nights when he was singing, and the boy can sing. I knew he could play a guitar, but I did not know he had a voice like that. He can sing.
Professional musician. He was just, a studio musician.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Well, he'd been on TV. He was on Carson with Tiny Tim.
Oh,
well, he wasn't on with Tiny Tim.
It wasn't?
Like, that was years after Tiny Tim was on Carson. He was Tiny Tim's lead guitar player. But that was years after the Carson
Oh, okay.
days with Miss Vicky,
Yeah.
He told me a lot about Tiny Tim. He says that thing on Carson was all, put on. He said Tiny Tim was one of the most serious musicians, knew more songs than anybody he'd ever met in his life, knew more about the history of music, and was very intelligent and very engaging to talk to. And they talked for hours about wide-ranging things. He said he was a great guy. He really was.
Mm-hmm.
huh.
Yeah.
Well, the one that surprised me, and I saw him on another show, but remember the guy, Boy George?
Yeah.
I thought he
Yeah.
was a total flake. And then I saw him on another show in regular clothes, and he was talking, and they asked him, well, why did you do Boy George? Why did you do it, dress up like it? He said, we played clubs and nobody paid attention. And he said, I dressed up like that and played the same song and the same voices, everything, and they paid attention.
Well, back in the 70s, a lot of stunt flyers, dressed up in all the white clothes and white shoes and everything. And, you saw them later years, they were perfectly normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what,
Maybe not perfectly
interesting. It
normal.
was an interesting time. The kids today don't know what they're missing.
That's a fact.
That's right.
No clown suit here. This is serious stunt. We got some white outfits. We'll be dressed like Bob Hunt.
Yep.
I took a lot of ribbing, but I was trying to emulate Bob Gialdini,
Oh,
Yeah,
Steve Boy wore white.
my hero.
Seriously, Bob Gialdini was the first one I ever saw dress up like that. And
He was.
yeah.
when I finally decided to get an outfit to emulate somebody, I went to Tucson dressed like Bob Gialdini. And who was the first one to walk up to me? Bob Gialdini. I thought that was pretty neat.
Was probably one to order an ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a heck of a nice man. He was there with a P-47 he designed way back when.
Yep.
That exhausted through the tunnel like a pipe tunnel. And they had an awful time getting that thing to run. I don't know if they ever did get it running because he went over to the classic side and I stayed on the old time side. That was during the years when all I flew was old time. But anyway, a friend of mine and I here just got into old timers for about 10 years and 8 years. And Tommy Looper, oh God, I can't think of his name. Anyway, about 3 of us.
That's the way it is.
Charlie Reeves, and then Charlie Reeves flew old time. It was before Buddy came back to flying with us. And we had a lot of fun. We had an awful lot of fun, but it was just trying to beat each other was all we could do, just trying to beat each other with those old time ships. And Lord, when I went back to flying a classic and then a modern, built the Impact and went back to trying to fly modern, it was hard. It was like learning a new pattern all over again.
Huh.
Yeah.
Bob, do you know Tommy Looper?
I do. I haven't seen him in many years, but I do. A really nice guy. Good flyer.
He's the world's greatest pilot carver.
Oh,
Rules what?
He's the world's greatest pilot carver.
Pilot carver. Okay.
Yeah, he carves pilots out of wood and paints them. They're so realistic and they weigh nothing. Zero.
He also, if you've seen Tom Dixon's Chipmunk, that little pilot in it, that's one of those plastic things. And he's taken and carved hair in it and made it look like a person. I
I
didn't
got
know.
one of them around here that looks like Clark Gable he sent me.
Yeah.
It's a little known fact that I have pilots and complete instrument panels and complete cockpit detail underneath my painted on canopies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What I want to, what was that pilot that was in the Saturn?
That was just a Williams brother.
Williams Brothers. Okay. I'm gonna try to get one.
I like to make pilots that were larger. I use pretty good sized pilot heads. A large pilot will make the airplane look smaller. Small pilot will make the airplane look like it's bigger.
Yeah. Well, you tried your best to make that Saturn look tiny.
Yeah.
That boy's head went almost canopy to canopy.
I normally use the 2-inch pilot instead of the 1.5 inch.
Yeah.
You just gotta carve his shoulders off to get him
They're
in
easier
there.
to, yeah, you gotta, yeah, it would never really be able to fit into an airplane that narrow, but that's okay. All illusion anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not scale.
Scale have to do with stunt.
Yeah, really.
I used to laugh back in the old days when they had the 40 appearance points on the East Coast here. If you didn't have an orange airplane, you didn't get any originality points.
Yeah.
Well,
And then it went from orange to yellow. If you wanted to win, you had to have some yellow on your airplane. Very strange.
that's good to me.
Yeah. You
It-
fly
it
yellow
would to you,
airplanes.
Howard. Your airplanes are yellow and orange.
I've never had a yellow airplane that I can remember anyway. I had some white airplanes with no one that turned yellow, but in the old days.
Bob, I got one for you. You're gonna love this. I've been researching paint schemes to put on an F8F Bearcat.
Yeah.
And I came up with one. I mean, at least in my area, there's a lot of beetle bombs. I was going to do beetle bomb because I grew up, everybody called me Beetle Bailey, you know, and I played Beatle music, which didn't hurt their cause any. But anyway, used to love the Beatles. Then I decided instead of beetle bomb, I'd do Gulf Hawk 4. Well, my gosh, there's at least 3 of them in the area and 2 more that I've heard of. So that's out. Aside do the dark blue and just do something like Al Raby would have done.
You're going to tell me about
Bill, do that or not? Because,
you're going to tell me about Bill Fornoff, right?
yeah, you're going to do your colors.
I was going to say, and I saw those airplanes fly, the Mustang and the Bearcat.
I did too.
At
Corky and the Bad
the
Bill.
65 Nationals.
Yeah, well,
The air show at the end, we flew the Bearcat and the Mustang.
yeah, I wasn't there for the 65 Nats, but I did see him at the Winston-Salem Air Show.
Mm-hmm.
And that Bearcat, I think that's the reason to this day I love Bearcats so much. That was the first plane I saw that really impressed me like that one did. That thing went over our head, and the concussion from those big propeller blades was just incredible.
Yeah.
It was wild. That thing, he got so low upside down with that airplane, I thought the rudder was going to drag. And a Bearcat does not have a small rudder.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was an incredible air show. And the Mustang was there. I mean, you know, I should have been, wow, P-51. I didn't even notice the P-51. I noticed the Bearcat.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
roaring radio was something else.
The copper and the black and white.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was incredible. If I can get some good,
I guess it was bronze.
if I can get some good pictures of it, that's the one I'm going to do.
Yeah. Bill Fornoff.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I later saw Corky fly it, and I met Corky, and he's I've got a hat somewhere that he signed. Yeah, he's just one of my favorite people. He and the last one that really impressed me. Oh darn, I usually know his name, but he flew a Su-31, and just, I mean, I thought I was watching a 3D model fly.
Yeah.
He's I'll think of his name in a minute. I'll look at my phone if I have to. I've got pictures of him and his airplane. But those 2 guys impressed me more than any other full-scale airplane pilots I've ever seen. And I've been watching full scale since I was a kid.
Remember when I was young, my dad worked for Eastern Aircraft. He was the chief troubleshooting engineer during the war at Eastern Aircraft, working on FM2 Wildcats and TBM Avengers. But after the war, at Linden Airport, which is just south of where we lived, We used to go by there, and they had row after row after row of Bearcats sitting out there, just
whoa.
for sale.
Wow.
Yeah.
$1,500. They were giving them away.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
Had
incredible.
PBY Catalinas, all kinds
Oh,
of stuff.
me. The flying boat.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. That's neat. And you're not that much older than me, so I should have known about that. I never
How
did.
old are you?
So just turned 70.
Oh, I'm 7 years older.
Yeah.
Almost 8.
Yeah.
I got a
That is
picture
cool.
of those Catalinas at Linden Airport, if I can find it.
Chris Cox flew those things, jump up fires.
Firebombing.
Yeah. I
The
found a bunch of pictures a few months ago that I had put up years ago. They were my dad's pictures of the flying wings of Northrop. And those things were amazing. He had some books that were top secret and all that. Of course, they've been whatever you call it now, but back then that was big secret.
That's showing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Linden
The
Airport.
Catalinas at the right.
Yep. Yep. That doesn't show how big they are, though. That's a bigger airplane than a lot of people think they were.
It was a good sized airport too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the control line contact.
Golly.
You guys know what the first stealth airplane was?
The first stealth airplane?
Yeah.
It was probably German.
The Horton 229.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Northrop built one and put it on a pole and shot radar at it to see if it was stealthy, and it was.
Wow.
It was made of plywood.
We had a airplane we shared around the Northeast back when I was flying RC pattern. It was a Tipperary.
Yeah, I had one.
It was silver and blue. And
disappeared.
And when you took off, the landing gear retracted, it disappeared.
Yeah, I have a SV11 that's silver, and I cannot fly it in the fall because when at Hobby Park you got trees 3/4 way around, and when those trees lose their leaves, they turn a silvery color, and you just can't find that airplane. All you got on it's that big shell emblem on the side is yellow. That's the only thing I can see.
Funny.
Said no, can't fly this thing in the fall. But I don't fly.
Thought about what you wanted to ask me yet, Howard?
No.
I'll keep checking back.
Howard, what do you mean you think about not going to the Nats? You're a regular, man.
Yeah, I'm a regular.
We can't hold the Nats without you.
Oh, yeah. Well, just
Come on now.
I'll be there, but only for 2 days.
oh,
Flying Classic.
I'm coming out. I was tasked to find 2 appearance point judges. I found 1, so I got to be the other one.
You're the other one. Okay.
As long as I'm coming out, I'm going to fly Classic Monday morning and then judge appearance Monday afternoon, and then come home. I can't do a whole week anymore. That's crazy. The week at Brodak the 2 days at Brodak almost killed me.
Did you find your batteries?
Yes, I did. They were in the car. They were in a smaller box than I remember, and it was covered with a blanket. And
Good. Very good.
my own stupid fault.
Well, stupid things happen, but those batteries are expensive.
Well, those weren't. They were free. It was Rick Huff gave them to me. They were the new 3,000 milliamp Li-ions, and he made me maybe 4 6S 3000s.
Neat deal.
Yeah, they're nice.
Here's something for you electric guys. Howard, you turned me on to that 18650 battery store.
yeah.
And I bought those Mola cells. And I don't believe they're going to cycle as long as the Samsungs I had.
What's that?
Because they're, I got a charger that's made for them to, I'm using them in my smoker, and they're not deep cycling. They don't last all day like my Samsungs did.
Oh,
And they're both the
You
same
run-
3300 milliamp or whatever the heck they are.
I heard that they were good for up to 1,000 runs in a model airplane. I'm never going to find out.
I got 10 of them now. Or 10 batteries.
Well, you might find out because you got your own flying field.
Well, not at the rate the weather's going.
Gee whiz.
It's they're interesting. I can't tell the difference between those and lipos.
What's that?
I can't tell the difference between them and lipos.
Really?
People say you can tell the difference. Right.
Go a little deeper into the pack. I mean, you don't have the thing.
But that's okay.
I was running 2600, 18. What do they call them? I forgot what the battery number was. The 18s. They were the
18650.
Yeah, 18650s. They were the was the 6S 2600, and I was flying the twins and no problems whatsoever. The only thing is, as everybody knows, they came down a little hot, and everybody told me not to worry about it, so I haven't been worrying about it. But apparently these new ones, the 30 amp batteries, can be charged at a higher C rate. You can charge them at 2C or 3C.
3C.
And apparently they run a lot cooler. Now, I haven't actually put them in the airplane and flown them, but I did cycle them a couple of times. So,
mine are landing at 120 Fahrenheit.
what were the? Did you ever fly the other ones?
No.
Okay. They're a little warm. Apparently, it's not hurting them.
I got more space between the batteries, and I don't have that negative heat shrink covering them up either. So it could be a little cooler.
Yeah.
Well, I'm using them for the wrong intention, the wrong intended purposes, because it says right on there,
Yeah, it does.
it does.
Yeah.
Not to use it in e-cigs, but I called the guy and asked him. He said it won't be no problem. It's just for liability. Okay.
What are you building there, Sparky?
This is the ultimate stunt ship.
Oh, okay. Well, I forgot. Okay, but what is the ultimate stunt ship?
Tempest.
Ah, Randy will be happy to hear that.
Randy's Tempest.
Yep.
Okay.
You would think if it was the ultimate stunt ship, you might have seen more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this is an SV11.
Everything he had was an SC-11.
Speaking
A funny story, and Randy heard this story, so it's not like I'm besmirching Randy. My friend Tom Hampshire goes out to a lot of flea markets, and he always buys model airplane stuff when he finds it, engines and everything else. But he knows that I like to make swoopy, curvy looking airplanes, and he found a Lufkin ship's curve that was from the early 1900s or something. It was
Cool.
It was wood. It was beautiful. So he bought it for me for a present. So I said, well, this gives me an idea. I said, I'm gonna go out and buy a selection of straight edges for Randy Smith for Christmas.
Oh, Lord. Oh.
It's like zip, stop, zip, stop, SB11, zip, stop, SB22.
They're all the
People
same
like them.
airplane.
People like them. They fly good. They fly really good. I have a friend who has one of those Brodak SB11. Has two of them. The ARFs or ERCs, or whatever they were.
And
And
they
put
are.
a control system in it. But I got to tell you, it flies really, really well. Really well. He was out at Brodax, Phil. He was a guy,
Mhm.
Tom Huff.
Yeah.
This is the guy that broke off 6 noses on airplanes, and I had to repair the noses.
Wow.
So Rick Campbell found out about this, and he bought him a book and sent it to him from all of us, a book on rhinoplasty.
Oh, that's bad. That is bad.
So, Rick is a professional musician, so Tom Huff retaliated by sending him a book that said music for dummies.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, Jack thought I was hurting or something, so he come in here to check me out.
It was pretty funny.
That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, your buddy was a lot of fun. I wish we got a guitar in his hands.
Well, we were going to bring guitars, but I had so much stuff to deliver there, and we had airplanes, and we had no room for guitars. So.
Yeah.
Which buddy's that?
Rick Campbell.
Rick Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
He went to Berkeley. He was a blues, he took a course on blues and chords and everything. Phenomenal musician, just off the charts.
Do you think you could make a mental note or a note on paper would be better to bring those Caprice plans to the Nats and the CDs?
Well, yeah, if I had some paper around here, I could. Yeah.
Crayon on your hand.
Well, hold on. I actually have a piece of paper here. Okay.
I'm all right, so now he's ready to leave and go back to mama.
What was it again you want me to bring? Okay, DVDs.
The DVDs and the Caprice plans. Because I'm going to build one of those for Classic.
Yeah, good airplane.
Seeing as I got a good deal on the wing set.
Yeah, I heard about that. To be honest, the Caprice, the one that I have, the shapes of the wingtips and the cowl and the canopy and rudder and all that stuff, that was my contribution to the thing. But the actual mannequin of numbers was Gene Schaefer's. That was his Blackbird. But it's
one thing, the thing flies good.
Yeah, well, Gene's really flew good too. Really good wind airplanes. But how maybe you could put some light on this. I'm not a math guy. I'm more of a looks about right kind of guy. The foam wing airplanes, when they came out in the East Coast, they turned out to be the best wind flying airplanes around. I mean, there was no question. So, is there something to the thought that the density of the foam a little further out in the wing with inertia drives better through the wind? Inertia of the foam in the wing and a little extra weight on it. Just when it's accelerating, it drives better because of the little extra weight in the wing.
Dave Brown thought something like that.
It could be something to that.
Yeah.
If they're lighter, built-up wings, it would fly great in calm conditions and moderate winds. But in the really high winds, it wouldn't penetrate like the foam wing airplane did. Now, we also flew the foam wing airplanes a touch faster too, to make up for the little extra weight they were at the time.
That make up for it.
A little bit.
Al Raby at one time did an article that he said he took I think it was a Mustang 3, and he added weight to it. Now you got to remember now, he was flying in Texas, which is always windy. And he said he actually added 4 ounces to the airplane. Well, that's what I remember. My memory being what it is, don't quote me on that. But anyway, he said I remember it being 4 ounces to the airplane, and it flew better.
Hear that, Sparky?
Yeah, I hear that, Ted. Sure.
But I don't know
You got 3-ounce flaps. I don't know how you could add more weight to an airplane that weighs 84 ounces or
84 ounces.
Yeah, well, his critical mass was 100 and something ounces.
That was the airplane that Caprice was stolen from, right there. That's Gene's Blackbird.
I'll have to go let the dog out. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh,
And I had
that's nice.
the same dimensions, the same wing. Everything was the same, but the shapes were different, obviously.
That's a Beamer, isn't it?
No, that's a foamer.
That
It
rudder
is? Oh,
reminds
wow.
me of the Road Runner.
Yeah, it was a real good airplane. This is a third paint scheme he had on it. So,
He had a pretty wild paint job on there to make it look like a Beamer.
it looked like a bus station floor, you know. It was pretty inventive. He had to get it done quick. But what happened was, he tried to do it in a candy paint job. He had a real nice orange candy paint job. But the dye that he used to make it orange over the gold had some kind of a reaction with the sun. And if you move from one angle to another, the whole airplane looked like a puke green. It was like an iridescent green. And he just couldn't take that. So he quickly refinished it. He sprayed it black and put a rim of white around the wing and the tail. And then he masked it off and he took orange paint and dipped a piece of coarse steel wool into the orange paint, dabbed it onto a piece of newspaper until he kind of got a pattern. And then he went over the black with the orange and he masked that off. And then he went over the white with black. So he had this kind of a marble look. Yeah. It was one of those airplanes that some people loved and some people hated.
So you're going to be adding 4 ounces to your airplane, Bob?
No. Nope.
Hear that, Howard?
Yeah. I already have 4 ounces added to my airplane. I built it in.
I'm building. I don't know how this happened. I got 5 new twins started. 5.
Ah,
Oh gosh.
5 new twins started. I hope I don't mix up the parts.
Yeah.
They're all different.
oh, there's Carl. I'll show you my my latest plumbing project.
Oh, okay.
It only leaks a little bit.
Sure.
I'll mosey on out to the shop.
Notice he said he's going to mosey. Occasionally
Yeah.
he ambles. Once in a while he saunters. Occasionally, very rarely he struts, but he never ever sachets.
No, dive combat team does not sachet.
Hmm.
That would be a mosey.
Yeah. You people talk among yourselves while I'm moseying.
And we're just enjoying watching you mosey. Pretty sky.
Yeah, if you like rain and stuff.
Didn't know you were in jail.
Yeah, I don't like talking about it.
This is terrible. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Try again.
There you go.
I'm making scrap.
There's my filter.
Looks like a pump head or well head.
Yeah, well, the well's to the left. And it's not dripping anymore.
Got any wild blackberries on your property?
No.
Got any tame ones?
No.
They grow up there.
Yeah, they do. We looked at a house. Somebody from the East Coast came and decided they would make a living with a blackberry farm, and they found out that blackberries are weeds that people work hard to get rid of.
Yeah. They're good. They're tasty.
They're tasty. They're all right.
They grow along the side of the road there.
They do, yeah.
If you're looking to make money in blackberries, you'd be pretty hard pressed up where you are.
Yeah, it's not the place to make. Well, I go out and work on the dog. I can show you my latest achievement. It's, here's the hold down for my battery.
Hold on, let me make it big.
Well, I don't know. This is worth making big, but
Oh yeah.
am I big yet?
Yes.
This thing holds my battery down, and my latest achievement is this latch here to hold it up while I'm changing battery. It's
Wow.
3D printed. I'll show you how the battery goes in if I can find one.
Need to make that out of titanium.
Okay, here's my battery hold down thing. I got well, I only have one hand because I'm holding the phone with the other hand, and I can't get the battery in here with my holder.
Duct tape.
Okay, here we go. Battery's in there. This thing comes down and
Oh,
Well,
we can't
turn
see-
the phone.
can't see-
There you go.
Now we can see.
okay, yeah. Well, I'm looking at it. I'm not showing it to the phone. This yeah, goes on there and
Look at that. Yeah, a little toggle.
toggle lashes it in place. I found these connectors. Chinese people make them. Figure that'd be good for connecting motors to ESCs.
What maker are they? Are those? What are they?
MR60 is the part number. Let's see who. AMAS,
Okay.
brand.
I want to change over all mine from the
Yeah.
Dean's Ultras to that because all told me that it's probably not smart to have the Dean's Ultras.
Yeah, Dean's have fallen from favor. So
Yeah, they have.
I got these orange connectors for the batteries now. IC3.
IC3s, yeah, that's what he told me to get. We got a bag of them. I just haven't done them yet. Are they easy to connect to?
Sorry, what?
Are they easy to connect to? I mean, soldering or?
Oh, yeah. They're not as easy as the blue ones where you solder them onto the terminal separately and push them into place. But if you got these doodads with alligator clips to hold the wire and the connector in place.
I got one of those. Yeah.
little tip here for you young electrical people. When you go to solder connectors onto your battery, you should plug this into the female connector,
Yeah.
so to hold it in place. But then when you grab the female connector with the alligator clip, you should not have the alligator clip hold on to the terminals because
Were you doing a little arc welding?
it desoldered one of the balance leads.
Yeah.
Got the tab hot enough to desolder a balance lead.
Good grief.
Other than that, it didn't hurt anything.
Are you making your own Li-ion batteries?
Oh yeah,
You have a welder, or how are you doing it?
I borrow a welder.
We bought one. We just haven't learned how to use it yet.
Oh, what kind did you get?
Same one Rick Huff has. I'm not sure what the name was, but
Oh,
we ordered the exact same part number he had. It's nice, but we haven't learned how to use it yet. Why should I? I get Rick Huff to do all my batteries now. You know?
yeah. Here's the battery. It's got 3D printed end caps.
Yeah.
And a 3D printed balance connector holder that goes in the crotch between.
That's nifty. I like that.
Yeah. So I had an electrical anomaly the other day. I'd flown a bunch of flights, and the last flight of the day, the thing flew slow, like a 7-second lap. And when I put it up, it would come back up to speed. When I fly high, it would come back up to speed. So it was like there was a loose connection in there that, when loaded in that direction, would cause it to make contact again. Now, I can't think of anything that would do that. That would just make it run slow when it wasn't making contact, rather than stop, because
Right.
it would take a different pulse width or pulse timing.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be an unusual thing. Could an anomaly on the motor wires cause that?
You're the control guy, so you know.
Well, you're Mr. Electric Stunt here. Falco, Mike Falco.
Did you figure out what it was?
No, I'm about to. I'm suspecting the motor wires. I don't know how the motor wires could do that, but
No, I don't either.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Black magic.
I'm fixing to take the motor out to see if I can find it.
Are you using the 3515 or the 3520, whatever it is?
No, I'm far behind that. I'm using a Plettenberg.
Oh, okay.
Left over from the old days.
Okay.
So, yeah, I shall return to my face here, and which I'm sure you like better than the dog. I'll take the motor out.
Sparky, quick, make that smaller.
Yeah.
Sorry, Howard. The shot was there. I took it.
Yeah, that was good. Maybe that was the question I was going to ask you. Is what happened there?
Oh yeah. Hey, by the way, Dean Pappas called me. He's retiring next month.
Oh, good.
So now we'll maybe get him back flying some control line. I got an airplane downstairs I'm building for him. Gotta get it done.
What
Say-
is it?
Hmm?
What are
Say
you
hello.
building, Dean? What are you building, Dean? It's got to be that's something special.
It's just no. It's actually, I don't know if you want to hear this story or not. Remember what you don't remember when Hurricane Sandy came through the East Coast, do you?
Oh yeah.
Remember that? Well, we were out of power for a whole week. It was in October, and we were out of power for a whole week. So I had no lights in the shop, but I could open the doors and the windows and get just enough light in there that I could put my drawing board up on the table and I could draw. So I decided to draw. I wanted to draw a series of smaller airplanes that would be a little easier to build and cheaper and everything for the. I didn't know at that point what size motor to use. I was using like a 28 14s or 28 14s, and I built about a 500 square inch airplane, which is actually too small for that motor. But so I had I decided to make a fuselage crutch, a wing, and a tail, basic tail, and draw out the fuselage side, the position of the motor, the position of the wing, the position of the tail, with no other shapes or anything. And I took it to a place and had it reduced, and had them run off a couple of hundred pages so I could just sketch. And I sketched different shapes onto that mannequin.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you could take it and go the other way. You could, if you got something you like, you could blow it up and then do an overlay and draw it out. You have your airplane. That's a really nice way of doing it, actually.
Yeah.
So I decided to call that whole project, I called it Sandy Shadow.
Oh, okay.
And there was like a whole bunch of them. There was a jet. There was like a Bendix racer. There was a whole bunch of different shapes. A little Caprice. I built a little Caprice. I designed one. I didn't build it. But that's a cool way to do a series of airplanes that if you find a set of numbers that works really well, you just draw out the fuse side, tail position, wing position, motor position, spinner, and then have them reduce it so where you can get it onto an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then you just sketch to your heart's content. And when
you mean like an SB11?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you get something you really like, you take it back to the place and have them blow it up to full size, and then put it under another piece of paper and overlay and draw it out, and you got a really nice way of designing an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Or styling an airplane, I should say.
Yeah.
Not designing.
Makes sense.
Well, isn't a Vector just a scaled down SB11?
What's that?
Isn't a Vector just a scaled down SB11?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's scaled down or not, but it's made the same way with the straight edges, and but if they fly good, they fly really good. I'm really impressed with the SB series and the Vectors and all those airplanes. They don't fly good if they're built.
They
What
all
was
fly
that you
well.
broke up?
And most of them.
Yeah, they're good airplanes. I just would
I'm
like
still
to
a fan of the Saturn, though.
One at a time.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see Brandy put a curve or two in, although he did on the
Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought. Yeah, that was my favorite one of the bunch.
Yeah, I'm afraid Randy won't be doing any more design work. He's pretty much out of it now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And how? Gonna miss him.
A good guy. See if I have thing on Sandy Shadow.
Did you ever run across anybody that ran a Super Tiger 60 on a pipe?
Yeah. Yeah, Wendy.
And how did it work?
It was an exhaust muffler.
Well, that's all a pipe is.
Well, I mean, no, this one really, all it did was carry the thing doesn't run fast enough to no, I guess it does really, but anyway, it was just on it. He had a side exhaust that came out of the side of the airplane, turned and went back up in the plane and came out way back at the back. And it just kept he said the only thing he had to clean was his tail wheel.
Yeah, I got one of them headers, and I got a pipe and a header and these Brian Gardner Super Tiger 60s. And I was thinking about putting that on this airplane, but why would I carry that extra weight?
I don't think the timing is correct on that kind of engine for
no.
I really don't. By the way, here's a little sample of that Sandy Shadow product, Phil. Let me see if I can get it up there.
Oh, cool.
See what I did?
Yeah, that looks very much like a couple of different airplanes you've done.
Well, the one's like a little Caprice, sort of, and the other one's like a Detroiter look almost, and the other one's like a jet. But you can see how you could take that fuse crutch and duplicate it, and just sketch in and then blow it up and
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So
I like your wheel pants. It looks a lot like the ombre wheel pants.
yeah, those were kind of like what Gene Schaefer used to make, wheel pants that look like that. And I always liked those. We called them horses' hoofs. Horses' hoofs.
If you knock the rudder off, it'd be a Genesis.
Well, that's how I designed the Genesis. I landed a nobler inverted.
Oh, me.
Is that a true story? Is
What's that?
that a true story or?
No, that was a blatant lie,
Yeah.
but it was funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, you know, it's fun. It's funny though. In 1970, we had that 4A contest here in Winston-Salem, and I remember going to the contest and thinking, you know, we got 34 entries in stunt, and I think 27 of them were noblers.
Wow. Yeah,
Then you had this great big monstrous 700 square inch stiletto, and then you had an Aries or two, and then you had a Genesis. That was it. There you go. There you go, Howard.
Yeah.
Let me make it big. Hold on.
That's Bob
Yeah.
Galley's version of the You Name It on the cover there. Raise it up just a little bit, Howard.
yeah.
Now, I'm not doing that version. I'm doing the original, but that's Bob.
That was the Sigma, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, that was a You Name It.
Yeah, but wasn't that the paint scheme the one that Adam Meeson did?
Yeah, I think it was.
He called that the Cygnus.
Cygnus, yeah.
That was his entry into the You Name It thing.
Yeah. But that's the one, that's the guy's airplane that I'm doing my You Name It for, because he's the one that got me to do my first outside loop.
Wow. I got a kit for that, by the way. Mark Weiss gifted me a kit to that airplane.
If you ever decide to sell it, I'd like to have it.
I can't sell it. It's a gift, you know. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
First place in stunt was Dennis Duval
Wow.
from Brownsburg, Indiana.
Flying his Miss Dora, probably.
I don't know. Second, Freddie Miles.
Oh, yeah.
Third, Chris Lella. Then Dave Hemstrut, Dan Schaefer, Remmel Cooper,
Wow.
James Call, Bob Harpy, and Bob Foster was ninth.
Bob Harpy. Whatever happened to Bob Harpy?
Whatever happened to Remmel Cooper?
He's still around. I talked to Remmel just maybe a year ago.
Say hi. Tell him I'm flying stunt.
Yeah.
He was always nice to me, even though I was a combat flyer.
Nice guy.
And yeah, and his AMA number is a permutation of mine.
Oh my gosh.
I have one phone number for those guys you listed off there. Dan Schaefer.
Oh,
I got his number too. He's into fishing. That's what he's doing now.
yeah, he stops by the Nats from time to time and visits.
Yeah.
He lives nearby.
I thought Les was there that year, but I guess not. I guess it was 72. I know he was there in 72 and 74. 74, he was there with he and his buddy that was the roofer. They had the brown one. I'll think his name in a minute. Were there. And that year, the ombre was on the cover.
Huh.
Santa Claus is in the building.
Do what?
Santa Claus is in the building.
Yep, Santa Claus has arrived. The reindeer had to be fed, buddy.
They were hungry too.
Yeah, that's what you get getting your fingers too close to their mouth.
They thought it was a carrot, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a mean reindeer if he even bites Santa. Good gracious.
oh, he's on the naughty list now.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, we're gonna get some updates on Bearcats.
Oh, good.
That'd be all right.
Mark Gerber.
Hey, Sparky and everybody
Been
else.
waiting for them updates.
Hi, Mark.
I don't have a lot of progress to report. I've been out of town on vacation.
Oh boy.
Hey, good. You have a good time?
Oh, yeah. I'll
Good
show you
deal.
some. Let's see here. Share. Okay. So
Okay.
before I left, I had finished repairing the rear end here of the Bearcat,
Yeah.
and I started working on the stabilizer. And I just rescued the control horn out of my old one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I machined a new spar and drilled holes in it. And that's about as far as I got before I went on vacation.
What are the holes for?
The hinge pins go in
Oh,
those.
Oh yeah.
so you're using lollipops like I
Oh,
am?
look
for
at that.
So then I went to Alaska. This is
Silver
salmon.
salmon.
Salmon I caught off of Sitka.
Big
Wow.
trout.
We had a good time.
That's where we're going in about 3 weeks.
Well,
Are you going through Seattle?
yeah, we went out of Seattle and then went up to Sitka and then went to
Oh,
Skagway and rode the train. And then we went down to Juneau and
you should have stopped by.
Sounds
Went
like you're
to,
doing the same trip we took, or
went
we're
to
going to take.
Yeah, Philip.
Victoria, BC, and stopped there last day for a few hours, and then we went on back to Seattle. So,
Howard, if I get out there, I'm going to aggravate you.
Okay.
yeah, Howard, I had my whole family, so I don't think they wanted to go to your house.
Yeah, well,
I would have liked to have come.
yeah, they'd be welcome, but they probably wouldn't keep entertained very well.
No, maybe my two little
Using Robart
grandsons.
hinges in that?
Yeah, the pinned ones. So I came back and then I put these little blocks in here to support the pins, the hinges, and made the leading edge in the center section. I glued all that in. So here's where I am now. I'm starting to put the ribs in.
Oh,
I cut several of those out and put those in today, and I'll have a picture of that. But
Hmm.
that's where I am, and then I'm
I'll
going
be
to
back together in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry I didn't make it to Brodax, but I'm going to be at the Nats, and so this coming week is going to be a lot of preparation for the Nats.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll be out of town for 3 more weeks. So I'm going to be in Ohio for a week, and then at the Nats for a week, and then back to Ohio for a week. Then I come back to Colorado, and then I get back to work on the Bearcat. So I won't have a lot of progress to report for a while, but that's where I am.
Looks good.
Very nice.
Dennis is not on, is he?
No.
I'm just reading his report on the senior stunt event at Brodax. Wish I had been there.
I'd like to see
Was
that.
that
The senior stunt event.
who wrote it?
Dennis.
Dennis was that product?
Dennis
He
Adamese.
showed up the day
Well,
of
Adamese-
the
Adamese-
morning you
I
left.
thought
He
said-
showed
I
up
thought
at
you
Eagle.
said- I thought you
Yeah,
said
they
New-
ran that the last day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday.
I saw the picture of all the spectators. Bob, you could have entered it. You're old enough.
Yeah, but I could only make it out for 2 days. That almost killed me as it was. And I went out there for Classic because I had something to fly in Classic, and I had to deliver some stuff. But it took me a week to recuperate.
He could have flown the plane that he flew in Expert and done real well.
Good airplane.
He looked very polished.
Good airplane. I don't know about polish, but I didn't hit the ground.
I thought you looked very good. I'd be tickled to fly as well as you flew.
I hit a couple of wingovers, didn't I?
You sure did.
But I'll tell you what, the thing that killed me, and probably Mark, you can relate to this, I'm sure. Anybody around our age can relate to this. That pit area for the Expert and advanced circle up there, down the side of the hill,
Yeah.
that almost killed me with my legs and back and coming up that hill. So on my second flight, Rick Huff said, "Is there a battery already in your airplane?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you stay up here in the circle, and Sarah Marie and I will go get your airplane for you." The lines.
All right.
Had my little pit crew.
Should have given them uniforms.
Yeah,
It's quite a hike
Yeah.
up that hill.
it is.
Yeah. He had plenty of people helping and more willing to help. So
It gets a little harder to hike up the hill every year. So
Yeah,
Did you see the video I took of Buzz flying?
yeah.
yeah, saw that.
I mean, wasn't great, but she didn't hit the ground. So
No,
that was cool.
I thought it was impressive myself. She actually got out there and showed us how it's done.
I had no idea she knew how to fly.
I didn't either.
80. Was it 80 or 88?
Wow.
Somewhere in the 80s was her last flight. She said she could fly upside down and loop and eights and all that.
Wow.
Wow.
She's not in really great health. She's not moving too good.
No. She's having some heart problems, I understand. So
Yeah, she came out a couple of years ago on Sunday afternoon and spent half an hour explaining all her medical ailments to all of us. And it's 2 years down the road from that. So
I imagine she's not too happy with how that place gets ripped up because it rains out there and people pull it in. There was so many ruts and mud, and,
yeah, it gets really muddy down there.
Such a beautiful piece of property to get it all cracked up like that.
Supposedly that was a coal mine there and it sunk.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah. They used to mine coal on that property, and it was up to the level by your house, and in that area, it collapsed.
Wow. I remember the day I was out there, this was 95 or early 96. Went out there to videotape his whole program for that Stunt Flyer video magazine thing I was doing. I was on an acquisition trip, and I videotaped his hobby shop and the manufacturing facility and his workshop and everything out by the field.
Got a copy.
We went out the back, and I'm panning around with the camera in his backyard. And they only had one circle back there then for the club. And I said, "You ought to hold a contest here." And these were the exact words he said to me. He says, "Do you think anybody would come?"
Well, it was only supposed to go on for 20 years, and I think we're at the 25th year now.
97 was the first one.
Yeah, but they had no contest for COVID.
Right.
They had two years no contest. I think this was the 25th. And she said that if she's alive, she's going to have one next year.
Well, that's good. That's encouraging.
It may be the last one, though. You never know.
Well, every year, I think it's the last one.
Well, what we ought to do is we ought to make plans ahead of time that, when that reaches its fruition, that we ought to get a group together and find a place and keep it going in that tradition.
That's a great idea.
Well, they talked about moving it to Joe Knoll, but it wouldn't be the same. I mean,
well, no, that's not going to be the same no matter where you move it. But if you can move it and call it the Spirit of Brodak or something, that would be fine.
Where's Joe Knoll? Where's Joe Knoll located?
Triple Tree, South Carolina.
Okay.
Maybe Ed Waski, because he has a place that they have that full-scale thing and they do modeling there too. Maybe he could find a place at an airport or something where we could have it.
They've got right there at the facility where we have the Carl Hopkins. He got permission last year to have a contest on those circles, and it's AstroTurf. So there's room.
where's that at? Florida?
Do what?
No,
Where's that at?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
It's
slightly
an hour from
closer. I think.
Brodak. It's an hour and 10 minutes from Brodak, west of Brodak.
Yeah, be slightly closer for those that was coming from the west.
Yeah. It's a beautiful facility, but I'm gonna tell you, if you think AstroTurf is softer than dirt,
No,
think again.
concrete under there.
Well, the object is to only hit it with your wheels.
Yeah, well, that's the object. It don't always work.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to hit it with your face.
I don't know. The older we get, sometimes I think I'm going to fall over out there.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you know that hole up on the expert circle, I about tripped and fell. You know, they didn't have any sand in it. It's terrible.
I'll tell you what, I watched this year, and I mean, I really watched this year. Found myself a spot, put in my chair and watched. And Joe Gilbert genuinely can handle a ringmaster better than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, Mr. Ringmaster.
He is something else with a ringmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, Bob, you need to get back in shape. I wish you could. I know how it goes because I got the same problem occurring. I just I have well, we had a car wreck last Saturday, and they told me I shook my head up a little too much, and I turn around and get dizzy now. I'm ringing in my ears and all this crap. I'm hoping it'll pass, but we'll see. But what they say I have? Slight concussion. I told him if this is a slight, I sure as heck glad I didn't have a major one. I'm telling you what, I've been hit by some linebackers that didn't hit as hard as that airbag. Man, that thing slapped me so hard, I think I passed out for a second because the other car went up. I mean, I remember hitting this. I remember she cut in front of us, and I remember hitting the brakes and hitting her right in front of the rear wheel. I remember seeing the underside of her car, but she slid like 60 feet, and they told me she's going 35, right? And then hit a Mercedes-Benz and bounced off it and just destroyed the size of a 12-day-old $125,000 Mercedes-Benz. Oh, I'd hate to have her insurance bill. But anyway.
There's Ed Wask. You can ask him about that place.
Yeah, I heard my name. I was booting things up. I'm soaking my ankle, and I heard my name. So,
well, it wasn't in vain, so you'll be all right.
And we were talking about, when, and, it's going to happen sooner or later. Rodak is no longer held there. Keeping that thing going in the spirit of John in another place. And maybe you had a place where we could hold something like that. Maybe not at that level, but, at least something.
well, number one, there's a turf in the back that's 200 by 400 foot. And it's real low, the turf stuff. And they told me that they would work with me. Only trouble is when you're talking June, the possibility of running into some tournament. So it would be one of those things where you have to get it scheduled. They'll be asking me in December, what about next year? Are you going to do it? And then the airport is opening up a new terminal, and there's 80 acres that they're developing. The airport wants to have some type of event also.
Something to think about in the future.
So there's definite interest. When you put $1.2 billion into the economy, that airport, all of a sudden people are wanting to listen, and that. So the interest is definitely there, and that and the support. I mean, for the expo this year, the support is coming in and stuff. So,
hey, darling.
It was Bunko night. Oh, she won. Oh, you brought me some money back.
Biggest winner, most wins, and the most bunkos. $30. Wow.
Good deal.
Very
neat.
Yeah. So that's pretty
Take
awesome.
you out for dinner,
I'll tell
Ed.
you what, though.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to Ponderosa tomorrow.
Man, you spend all your pocket.
So drinks are on me. Yeah, drinks are on me.
Thanks,
All righty. See y'all later.
See ya.
Yeah. So, like I said, the interest is there. And the state education office has been talking to me. So what the heck did I do? I lost the picture. Am I still there?
Yeah,
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 you're still here.
looking good.
No, I hit the wrong button. So I got to find.
Hit the little blue zoom button in the bottom of the screen.
Oh, there it is. What the heck?
We'd have to have Brodak bring a trailer of junk with him to it.
Well, they're only an hour away. I mean, it's we can still run over to Brodak. We just had to do it one evening as a concerted effort. Have the girls stay a little while and come over and aggravate them. Of course, I don't think we're going to get the $1 hot dogs and hamburgers and all, but you know.
What the heck did I do?
Look at the bottom of the window, Ed. There's a blue zoom button. The bottom of your screen.
No, I'm looking.
The icon tray.
You got a Mac or a Windows machine?
Yeah, are you on a Mac or Windows?
Windows.
Okay. Bottom of the screen, there might be a little arrow to the right by the clock. And push that button and it'll all slide over. And then you find that blue button.
Yeah. Normally I have an icon, and when I click on it, it'll show me Zoom not signed in. Yes, I am. What the heck?
No, you can fool us, but you can't fool that computer. It says you're not signed in. It don't think you're signed in.
Oh, there we go. All right, I got it back. It's a completely different way of doing it. But sorry about that. But yeah, it's it's a lot of support. Aerospace is really replacing the coal mine people, and
good deal.
And the student graduate, you know, is to get the AMP school's got 130 students maxed out per year. And the flight school is up to maybe about 10 aircraft, and they also do training for the Air Force.
Wow.
Cool.
And stuff. Yep. There's a ROTC that will come by actually probably next week and stuff.
Very neat.
Yeah.
Ed, look at this. You start to snowball down the hill and look what's happening.
Yeah, this year 5, it's amazing. And that it just was surprised when Victoria Yeager agreed. In fact, she's sending me a couple of signed photos to see about auctioning off and stuff to help out the foundation. So I'll be sending out an update for you guys that are coming with more details and stuff, and your dinner entry card.
What's the date of this?
August 8th, which is a Friday, and 9th. I'm going on TV July 7th, a month before, and then I've requested on August 7th, the day before the expo, to have Victoria and I back on TV, so we have coverage before the event, not after the event, or you know, and stuff. Where everybody says, "Well, man, why didn't I go there this weekend?"
Yeah.
It's getting the word out, and which is tough, but it's getting easier every year.
It's good.
And
it's a lot. Bob, you need to come if you can. It's a lot of fun.
I'd like to make it. Mark and I talked about going out last year, but something came up. I couldn't go. I'd like to.
That's a lot of fun, and it's the old guy puts on a heck of a show, and he really takes care of us.
Yeah, there'll be a golf cart for you there to share there, Bob.
Is there a hill that you have to come up and down with your plane, or is it flat?
It's flat.
Nope.
There you go, Bob. Get away from that hill.
I'll have my pit crew with me.
Yeah, if you want to look at on the internet, Bridgeport, West Virginia Sports Complex.
Bridgeport, West Virginia Sports Complex.
Yep.
Bridgeport or Ridgeport?
Bridgeport.
Bridgeport. Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second.
It's a beautiful complex. It's softball fields on the front side, and I don't remember what that is on the back, but it's
Well, the back is the 200 by 400 foot
Yeah.
turf on the backside, and that
It's a
and
big open area. It's beautiful.
and off to the south, there's going to be more additions done.
Make a note, Bridgeport, West Virginia.
I'm looking at it right now.
And when you look at the indoor turf, that's where we do free flight. When you look at the 4 ball fields, that's where we do control line. And then there's a parking lot. And then on the other side of that to the north is several soccer fields where we do RC and rockets.
Did you get it for a whole week?
Driving directions to Bridgeport, West Virginia.
They give it to me for the 2 days that I've asked.
No, but if we had a major event there, would they give you more days? Is there other?
I would have to say a good chance, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things where I would have to start seeing what the schedule looks like. You know, so in other words, I'd have to be looking at this fall for next year. They already told me that late August or September is fine with them if I wanted to do an event. But if you want to do a June event, then I'm not sure how many activities are going on and that.
When I might make it, it's not that far. It's only 9 hours for me. Same as Brodak.
Yeah, they got a nice website. I'm looking at it now.
Bob, how far are you from Brodak? 2 hours?
5 hours.
5 hours.
Pennsylvania is a wide state.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the other end.
I'm almost on the Delaware River. I'm almost into New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2 blocks.
Near the Delaware Water Gap, huh?
I'm below the Delaware Water Gap by about 25 miles. 20 miles.
Oh gosh, you're up near the trout fishing then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good fishing here.
I think I get to North Philly airport there at the helicopter place in about 6.
Bob, if you will remind me
Helicopter
this
place,
year,
you talking about Carson helicopters?
No, Augusta
Okay.
has a shop there.
Okay. My son works for Carson Helicopters. That's in Percy, which is just north of Philly.
Okay. Well, that used to be called something else, right?
Could be.
Yeah. Yeah. We went to a helicopter place just north of Philly to help out a couple of times. And, but it wasn't called that. I don't remember the name.
He works for Carson. They do they're retrofitting, doing research. He's a carbon specialist. They're doing research to retrofit all the Black Hawk helicopters in the world, the ones that don't belong to the Taliban, retrofitting them with carbon blades. And they also do replacement sets of blades for the Sikorsky Sky Crane at $9 million.
Oh, wow.
$9 million a set.
Only.
have you ever really looked at one of those things?
Yeah.
That is the weirdest looking helicopter ever.
They have one in the hangar down there. It's huge. Looks like a wasp.
They had we had a big storm here a few years back, and a lot of big trees fell in Old Salem, which is a very historic area. And they brought in a sky train to pick the trees, you know, they cut them up in pieces, but the big pieces were still several tons. They brought in a sky train to haul that stuff out of there. And they had to bring it and land it somewhere to let it cool off every hour or so, whatever. But they had to let it cool for 15 or 20 minutes and check the oil and whatnot. They landed down in our parking lot, the city. And we went down to take a look at the thing. That is an interesting bird.
It is.
Yep.
Robbie sent me a picture of it when they had it in the hangar down there. I don't know if I still have that picture or not. I doubt it. Well, usually. I don't think so. No, I don't have it. Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
What you thinking, fella? Huh?
How many days is this expo, Ed?
The 8th and the 9th, Friday and Saturday.
8th and 9th of July or August?
8th and 9th of August.
Okay.
Yeah.
You will eat well. Be prepared to eat. Ed feeds us well.
And we got a heck of a spread for this Friday with Victoria. I've got a place that is for weddings and stuff and ceremonies to where it'll seat up to 200 people. I'm expecting about 100. And it's got the TVs where we can have, photos being shown. Victoria Yeager is going to give about a 30 to 45 minute speech, a photo booth, and of course, anything from the foundation if anybody's interested in purchasing and
Cool
stuff.
deal. Cool deal. It's do we have the money to purchase it? It's not do we have the interest?
Yeah.
No, we have to buy balsa wood. We don't have any extra money.
You need to take out a loan. You need to take out a second loan on your home. Get that nowadays.
Yeah, it's getting cheaper to buy the balsa farm than buying wood at the hobby shop.
I'm gonna tell you what, the hobby shop's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's a hobby shop?
Yeah.
Well, we have a hobby shop locally, but it's a place, it's this big building you go in and they have 900 RC cars laying around in stacks and some RC foam airplanes hanging from the ceiling. And if you're real lucky, there's a few pieces of balsa over here and a few things that you can use. But mostly it's RC cars.
Yeah. And what are they doing differently? Because you still see competition and that, but once again, it's the competition I'm seeing is all for older guys that can afford spending all this money on these bigger cars.
I'm gonna tell you what, the stuff I looked at, I went in there the other day, and the stuff that's selling is quarter scale. So you talk about spending some money. That's real money.
Yep. I hear guys talking about. I mean, guys that I fly with do the RC cars.
I can't afford both.
Well, I suspect that the RC cars the kids are seeing them being run around in the parks and in the cul-de-sacs and up and down the road and that, and they're not seeing the airplanes in the parks or any of that. So it's one of those things. Well, it's not like it used to be. It used to be you started a model airplane up in the park, and within minutes you got how many kids there,
Yeah, but now you started up and you got how many cops there, and then your car and everything else.
I've actually experienced where you pack your stuff in, and you got cops there before you get it all packed in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a shame.
I actually was flying a hand launch glider when I got called on a noise complaint.
Yeah.
A hand launch glider on a noise complaint?
Yeah. The cop come out and said, "You're going to have to go." And I said, "What for?" So we got a complaint on noise. I says, "For this, and I took it and he said, "You can't do that." And I threw that sucker up in the air. And he listened, and I said, "Well, that thing don't make any noise at all." I said, "No, it's a glider." He said, "Oh, dang it." He says, "I'm going to go talk to that lady."
Well, the problem was you were having fun.
Yeah, that was it. And it wasn't what fun that somebody thought it was appropriate, I guess.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have fun.
Well, we had an RC field here that was over, of all things, the old dump, and the dump was full. They weren't using it anymore. So the Lexington RC Club got the permits and started using the field out there, and built a building and just a roof. But they spent I think it was $4,000, and gravelled in the parking lot and really started fixing the place up. And a lady that lives over a mile away fussed because it was too much noise. And we're sitting there. The only thing that we've flown out there are sailplanes. Winch launched sailplanes.
Yeah.
They made her nervous, so she complained, and they had to move.
It's that whining when the winch pulls too hard on the line,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. Some people just really can't stand for somebody else to be having a good time. But now that land's just sitting there doing nothing. I mean, you know, at least the county was getting, I think it was $500 a year that the club was paying them. I don't know. But they didn't even want the club to get the building back. They want us to leave everything out there. I said, whoa, wait a minute now. That didn't work though. We had a guy with a truck and he laid it up and got it out of there. I don't know how they got the permits. I don't know how they did it. I was not a member of the club. I was a guest, but they got it out of there. I still love to fly the sailplanes, but it's like stunt. You just can't find a place to do it anymore.
I got a big
We
place
have
to
Hobby
do
Park,
it.
thank God.
I got a big place to do it here.
Yeah,
Lots of thermals,
yeah, I know it.
big thermals, boomers.
Well, there are some things.
Oh, man, I got a really nice place to fly. I got a really nice field 12 minutes from my house. It's out in the middle of a farmer's field. There's no trees around, no obstructions. We keep it mowed down to the nubs. Eat your
How do you learn how to fly in bad conditions doing that? Does that
Yeah.
ruin the reflexes for updrafts, downdrafts, turbulence, and just crappy weather?
I'll suffer through there, John.
John,
Somebody's got to do it, right?
John, as someone who has witnessed his flying prowess recently, he ain't hurting.
I know it.
I'll show. I think I got a picture of my my field here.
I got a dry lake just 5-10 miles away, and you can literally see the thermals going off of that thing, especially this time of year.
If it's work or not.
I've been out there and seen that. I didn't have it. When I was a service tech and didn't have a plane with me, but I have seen that. You can literally see the thermals. It's incredible. Ooh, that's pretty.
What's that?
Your airplanes.
Wait a minute. I should have a. Is that shown?
Gotta open each one.
You're showing the wildfire page.
You gotta open the specific thing you want to look at.
Can you see it?
We
That
see
would be 17 pictures.
We see your menu. Your.
Okay, hold on.
You gotta close that one.
Hold on.
Wow,
Look
look at
see if I
that.
can do it now. I can't. I don't know how to do it. It's no big deal.
Mark them in.
Have words with your dog.
It wouldn't do any good. The dog wins. My daughter wants me to have words with my dog. Doesn't matter. I argue with him. He wins.
Stuart, how'd those changes work out?
I haven't gotten to it yet. I wasn't feeling great the other day, so I'm going to work on that more. Or sorry, Sunday probably. We're going to get a heat wave. A heat wave's coming, so it's going to be in the 90s.
Vegetables?
It was 104, 105 degrees here yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Could get up to 100 here.
Yeah. He's a smart little squirt.
This way.
Gary, are you awake?
Mark?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's about your time to take over.
I guess.
We need Len on here so you guys can communicate.
I wonder where he's at.
There you go. This is my field.
Oh, man.
It was only for a second.
Good well lasted.
Yeah.
What a field, though. Good grief. What's that, about 10 acres?
Oh, it's a lot more than that.
You got to show it again. It just flashed on the screen and went away. Maybe your computer doesn't have enough power. Is it a movie?
That Sean?
No. Is it a movie?
What's that?
Is it a movie?
Is it a video?
Yeah, it's a video.
Well, maybe your computer doesn't have enough power to present that or enough bandwidth, one.
Huh. Well, no big deal. Mark's been there. He knows the field.
Mark's been everywhere.
Yeah.
He could write a song about that.
Bob, is there going to be a Before the Snow Flies this year?
Now, what we did was Joe Daly had that Gene Schaefer Memorial Contest. I had the Before the Snow Flies contest, and the Middlesex Modelers had a contest, and one was robbing from the other because people couldn't come to, all three of them.
Yeah.
And so we decided to combine it into one big thing called the North Beast. And it's a 2-day contest, and it's a big contest. It's a lot of fun.
When will that be?
It's on a beautiful site.
When?
So we'll do that again this year.
When will that be?
Phil, it's going to be, I think, around the 10th of October this year.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Good
It
to
was
see
in
you, Mark.
September last year.
I'll try to make it.
It's a good contest.
I hope to be back in shape to fly by then.
You get the experts get 4 flights. They get 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. They have old time, classic. They have classic, right, Mark?
I think so.
Time classic, profile, and Pampa classes. And
I'm there. That's my kind of contest.
I have food, and there's good lodging nearby. It's a nice field. Really nice.
I'll tell you, Phil, what you really like about it, there are no judges. You just put down whatever you think.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I won with a 670 last year.
Wow. Wow.
The first liar doesn't have a chance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a great site, and it's a good contest. It's good.
I'm trying to make it.
Yeah. Bring everybody up.
I'd love to. It's hard to get Tommy out of the house these days. I don't know what's going on, but he seems to be scared to go anywhere. I don't know. I think I can probably talk Buddy into coming and maybe Kermit. But
Yeah, I'd like to see Kermit up there. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Kermit did pretty good at Brodex, didn't he?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, he's coming on strong.
He is. Made big leaps.
Yep.
What's that other guy, Brian Miller? Is that another
Yeah,
guy?
Brian Miller. I hadn't seen him in a few weeks, but he lives in Reedsville, it's about an hour from here. But Brian's a great guy. And then that's about all of them really that fly contests. We got 3 or 4 that just come out and sport fly, but I mean literally they just fly around in circles, So, but that's all right. They're having fun. Like we all say, as long as they're having fun, they're welcome.
That's it.
That's all we do. Come out and have fun. It's not the flying, it's the camaraderie, and we all fly until 11:30 or 12 o'clock, and then we go have lunch and talk about how good we used to be.
Yeah.
Mark, before we go to the after party, do you have any announcements for the world to see?
For me,
Yes.
I can share a little bit of news with you. Yeah, of course, the Nats is coming. I think our first day it's the first Sunday in July. John Hill, as you know, is going to be is the event director. Frank Williams, the assistant. The biggest hurdle we've had is to find judges. And as we've talked about before on here, and I think it was Paul Walker said this to me years ago, he said, we won't stop having contests because we don't have competitors. We'll stop having contests because we don't have volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that. I believe that.
Yep.
Matt Colin, is moving out of his area.
Oh.
But we got, Matt was fortunate enough to get a quality guy to replace him in, I guess that's District 8. That'll be Steve Moon, very experienced, comes from a great family. I look forward to working with Steve. As you know, we have a couple of Pampa meetings during the Nats. One is the trustees basically, and the other is for general membership, as well as those who just want to sit in and learn about Pampa. I had a meeting at, well, Sparky was there at Brodak about what's going on with Pampa. It was very straightforward and quite open. But I got 3 new guys to join Pampa, so I was happy about that. Other than that, the Worlds next year is in Australia. Great place to go, not cheap to get there. If you're going to bicycle or canoe, you want to start pretty soon. So I'm not sure there's much more going on. I mean, you know, for being a member of the Pampa board, obviously what's taking our time right now, and it has for probably 6 months, is the Nats. And we also have a replacement for the former executive director, Chad Boudreau, and I'm personally sorry that happened. It's good for him. I think he's in Columbus, Ohio now, but I don't think he's doing, I think he's doing, I don't know what he's doing, but he's a very competent guy. But we had a great relationship with him at Pampa, and that helped us with the resurfacing of the LPAD. So I've met his replacement. I met him down at Triple Tree. He's from the inside. I can't give you an opinion. I'm sure he's a good guy. Chad was a hands-on guy and very accessible, and I hope that continues, because that's us.
Tyler,
AMA and Pampa just have to have a very close and friendly working relationship. So that's
Tyler was responsible for making the expo happen for me behind the scenes.
Who was?
Tyler Dobbs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the guy. That's right.
He got it. Well, he'll do fine.
I think his wife works there too, doesn't she, Ed?
She was in
that I don't know.
I think so.
Wasn't that her in the trailer?
So I don't know. I'm going to talk to him while I'm out in Muncie. And Will and I met him at Triple Tree. He came down to say hello. That was nice. So hopefully, you know, we're in nice shape with AMA, and you know, I want to keep it there. There are more things they need to do for us, but probably every discipline can say the same thing. But when you spend the kind of money they did, and it's really a dual purpose pad, RC Pattern uses it and we use it. But we tend to have as many people come to the Nats as any organization. So as long as we can keep doing that, I think, Sparky, I think we're around, and this is going to be close, not exact, maybe 30 in open and 30 in advanced so far.
Wow.
I don't know about the other categories yet, but I think we're going with 8 or 9 judges, and we'd rather have more, but it's a limited field. And you know, it just seems like a year where guys who might do it are having medical issues, including Mark Overmeyer, who's normally the chief judge, and he's going in for surgery. So
who's going to take his place? Steve?
Yes.
Good.
Steve Smith's going to take his place, and Steve's going to do a great job. I'm not saying that in a marketing sense. He's a good guy, and I know he'll do a good job.
Any news on team trials?
No, because that doesn't fall under Pampa. So it's one of those things that if I see, it's almost by accident.
Oh, okay.
John Hill and Frank are normally very involved in that, but of course they're running the Nats. So, you know, I don't know the answer. It's typically, I believe, in October. Typically, I think in Houston, that area. But I don't know that for sure for this year.
Is there a reason that it's not held at the Nats? You know, like the combat guys. The combat guys have their team trials before they fly at the Nats.
Yes, they do.
Doing that?
I'm not sure the answer to that, Sparky. I wasn't.
Time. We
I
don't have
didn't realize that until maybe 2 years ago when they do it. I'm not sure that others don't do it since people are there.
we don't have the time, the days. Our program runs too long the way we have it formatted, so we don't have the
Okay.
time to squeeze in another contest. And you can't run it concurrent with AMA rules.
Yeah, yeah. AMA is also, Tyler would be better at talking this than I am, but they've tightened up the window where they want to have the nets. I'm not sure why. I think one of the reasons is they also sponsor or encourage other groups to come in, those not even related to aviation, just to help their bottom line.
Yep.
So for that reason, they try to make the nats, pretty much one right after the other. See you, and welcome back next year.
Yeah. Have car shows and gardening shows and rocketry.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, the Triple Tree does the same thing.
Yeah.
Triple Tree has a lot of activities that have nothing to do with.
I have to offset the cost. I mean, they have to find a way to make money, So.
You have, I don't know how many acres AMA has.
1,700.
I know Triple Tree has front to back is 7,500 feet.
I think AMA has, if I'm not mistaken, 1,700 acres, or is it 1,200 acres?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's all I can think of right now. I'm sorry I'm late getting on. Just a lot going on. We're going to have another change in another district, but I'm not sure of who's going to jump in right now. It's also a year, I've talked about this before, that the way Pampa is set up, district directors from odd number districts, one ending with 11, all have anniversary dates the same year. And then all those with even districts, okay, have anniversaries the same year. And we do that to make sure that we're not having 100% changeover in personnel. Mine, the best I can figure it, is.
Lifetime membership.
I'm sorry?
You're lifetime appointed.
Yeah.
I think they say the same thing to you, Sparky, when you go to prison.
Yeah.
About being a life member. I'll see. I'm talking to a very dear friend of mine about that, and I also want to get the heartbeat of the district directors in July, and see how they're feeling about things. So nothing negative. Challenges are always out there. I think the idea of volunteering is getting critical. It's just getting critical. If it wasn't critical, I wouldn't be judging again this year, neither would John Paris, who's run the Nats the last 3 years. And I got to tell you, he's a great guy. I think it's very unfair that he's judging. Not because he's not a good judge. He's a great judge. But you know what? Every once in a while, anyone wants to just go there and not have responsibility or be a pilot, and know when you're going to fly, and the rest of your time you're on your own.
We may at some point have to just appoint, like every so many years, you take a year off from flying and you help.
Yeah.
If you want to go compete at the Nats, that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Every 4 years.
I think what makes this a little more difficult, at least I can buy this to some degree, is that, I don't know what the average age of our competitors is at the Nats, but it's up there. And when you ask someone to come without their airplane, there's a fear in them that a year from now, they won't have the skill level. They won't have the physical ability to fly as well as they do this year. And then again, at some point, you got to say, and a lot of those guys have done their tours. They really have. Not everyone. At some point, you got to say, if this is going to keep going, I'm going to have to volunteer.
Yep.
You just have to do that. Or people won't come to Muncie because Muncie will just be a fly-in and not a national championship. And if you've heard me for 3 or 4 years, whatever it's been, I'm very stubborn about that I want this to continue. And I was talking.
There's another way of handling it that the RC guys have done a contest for years, as you probably know, Mark.
I do.
Contested judging.
Yeah. At pattern events, including the Nats, if you don't judge, you can't fly. Administratively, it seems like a nightmare, but it's obviously something that can be done.
It's an option.
Yeah, it's an option. I have a little problem with that because I want people who are full-time judges to judge. And you can also get, it would be easy to get some favoritism, at least threatening, to come about if you're judging a fellow competitor or even someone in another category. We do it at Brodak for the same reason. Brodak has a lot of activity and getting judges, and Will is normally the one to do that. You hate to ask the same people. You know, unfortunately, this year we had some new pilots. We had we didn't have a terrible time finding judges. The total number was down, but it wasn't down that badly. I think it was around 83 registered pilots, and that's not terrible.
Pretty good.
You know. So Sparky, I hope I answered that. Sparky was there all week, videoing, selling some stuff. Unfortunately, he was also the target of some theft, and that is
what was stolen?
I'm missing some wheels and a small flight box with 2 sets of lines, 2 cast handles.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'd like to think, and I do think this was not purposeful, but after Sparky's flight, he came back to the scoring tent like everyone does, and there's a little box there where your score sheets are, and his weren't there. They were turned in, they were totaled, they were posted. But of course, the pilots want to see how the judges handled them and where they need to improve. And someone either tapped it with their own stuff or whatever happened. But when I left Sunday, it still wasn't there. So those are the kind of things that you just hope that it's some other reason and not the kind of people you don't want to be around.
Yeah.
Brodak it's year to year. I have no idea if we're going to have it next year. And that's it, you know, it's 27 years in someone's backyard. So it's a great event. But we got a lot of great events coming up. And I don't know if Paul is bringing his new B-17, but I sure hope he does.
No, he's not.
I mean, he certainly wouldn't enter it. He doesn't have any stick time on it. But what a job. If you've seen the picture on Facebook, it's probably been on Stunt Hangar.
Gorgeous.
It's just amazing. So that's what I know about Pampa. There are a couple of surprises coming up at the Nats. For some people, I don't want to talk about it because I like them to be pleasantly surprised. But that's about it.
Monday, I had to leave and couldn't mention it, but Mark and Will did a heck of a job, and everybody that was there was really nice. So, you know, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Sparky. Thank you.
Job every year.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I haven't been at a contest yet that I can think of that wasn't enjoyable. You know, I think the least likely place might be a place like the Nats because it's competition. But even there, people are decent. Sometimes they want to be alone and practice and do what they need to do, and that's their right. So I hope this isn't my last broadcast because Monday I'm playing golf and the temperature is supposed to be 102. So if you see my cat instead of me next time, you'll know that I didn't do well. So we'll see how this 79-year-old old man holds up.
I think you'll make it.
So great seeing you.
There's nobody holding a gun to your head saying you have to go out there for 18 holes.
No, but I'm the president of the club. So, you know, I don't want to be called names like, you know.
Well, you don't have to carry your bags.
No, I don't.
There you go.
And I'll see you here on Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Hey, in Pakistan, when we did that, we had ball boys that would get all the balls for us and show us where they were at and stuff. In the Philippines, we had tee girls that would tee the ball up for you. So something to think about.
No, this is public golf in America. It's quite different. Like get off the grass and
What are you doing here?
it's interesting though, when I come back from a week somewhere, which is fairly often, there are a bunch of guys that just want to know, how did it go? What'd you guys do? So I decided what I'm doing. I'm getting a ring rat just fixed up a little bit from our travels, and I'm going to invite the guys out to fly the ring rat with me.
Oh, there you go.
Mark, which ring rat is that?
It's the larger one. It's 250 or the 350. He offers two. It's
Yeah,
the larger
250.
of the two.
Okay, so it's
250.
Yeah. Yeah. The other is smaller. I'm not sure if it's a flat wing. But you want the bigger one.
okay. I'm gonna order
Yeah.
one tomorrow.
Will and I were talking about a little bit of chasing streamers at the expo too with them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, one thing I'm sorry to take this time, but one thing that it was probably the highlight for me of Triple Tree, that as far as Joe Knoll week, because we go twice now. We went in late April to have stunt camp. And then, I don't know, second week in May, we were back for Joe Knoll week. But during Joe Knoll week, Will and I fired up two ring rats, and we have them on a little car transmitter, so we're controlling the throttle. So on one hand we have the handle, the other hand we have the throttle, and we had streamers on them. Now, if you've seen the ring rat fly, first of all, it's little. It can handle slow speeds amazingly well. So we decided to have a combat match. And
Lord,
it got to be so much fun that right toward the end, when I think we both thought maybe our batteries were starting to go, and I don't know, I can't remember if anyone got a cut. I do remember one of us or both of us hitting the other stream, and nothing happened. The motor slowed down.
You can actually punch each other with the transmitter too.
Yeah. But either I was trying to get to Will or he was trying to get to me, and the two ring rats locked. But because
You guys should have traded throttles. You will take.
it did make a difference. The lines wrapped up so quickly, but they're so little and light, they just kind of came down vertically. And that motion just set us laughing. And we're on the ground. Here we are. I'm an old man. Will is younger. We couldn't stop laughing. It was just so much fun that it was kind of, we need to do this more often. Because I think it's something spectators.
Think about trading throttles.
Trade throttles.
Yeah.
Will would run your airplane and you will run his. And then so each other's, that would be wild.
Oh yeah. And before I got on the handle, Derek's son got on the handle, his 10-year-old son, who's not a bad flyer. But Will was trying to bait him, hanging high. And it just brings out a lot of laughs. So I think, Ed, in West Virginia, I think that'll be very popular, as long as we bring a fair supply of CA.
No, I got three ring rats ready to go.
Okay, there you go. If there is an airplane that people should throw in the trunk of their car, that's probably one of them. Because you can get just about anyone to fly it and probably solo it in the first flight. It's that good an airplane, and especially with the throttle, that just makes all the difference in the world. So since I'm yakking and people kind of curious about this, I was trying to decide. I get my phone every year, and wherever I'm going, which is a lot of places, I make a list of things I need to bring so I don't forget things, except if I forget to list something, and then it doesn't come with me. And this year, my question was, should I bring stuff to sell? And I figured I had time to do that. And I sold everything I brought, which was nice. And all you have to do is bring good quality stuff at a low price, and you can move stuff all day.
Yeah.
If you try to get what it's worth, that's difficult, you know.
What a
I'm not knocking people. I understand that. So I sold a perfect Magnum. I sold a B-26 Japanese kit that's probably 40 years old,
Wow.
but it's all machine cut. It has the dual landing gear already assembled, aluminum cowls. I mean, it's awesome.
Is that a Eureka kit?
No, it's made in Japan.
Yeah, they had a company called Eureka that made a lot of scale.
Oh, I don't know. I remember kits like that years ago, Bob, at Polk's Hobby Center in Manhattan. They had those kind of airplanes.
Yeah.
I sold a 576 Ringmaster, um, and three other things. So now I got all this money in my pocket, you know, so you know what's going to happen.
What'd you buy?
Yeah, so I go to, I didn't buy, oh no, I did. As I was walking back and forth, there was a guy there selling maybe 5 nice kits. And one of them was a Legacy 40 Brodak, brand new in the box, still wrapped. And it's always been a good airplane. Do I need it? No. But I never get what I need. I get what I want. So I'm looking at it, and he said, at Brodak, it's probably 230, 240 would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what do you want for it? And he said, 125 would be fair. I said, it's very fair. I said, it's not on my A list, but I'll come back and talk to you. And if you get an offer, just sell it. So I came back later and I said, okay, what's your number? He said, 80.
Wow.
Sold. So I got that. Then I went to the hobby shop and I had maybe $30 worth of things that I really needed. And they were for the Legacy 40. And I was with Kermit, Will, I forget who else was there. And I guess Kermit found a covered Oriental fuselage that's never been sold. Okay, it was covered in white, just the fuselage, looked perfect. So he asks, what's her name in there, Bob? I can't remember her name right now. Anyway.
That's
Nikki.
That's Sandy Ruth.
Nikki or Debbie?
No, the other one. Who's the first one?
Debbie or Nikki?
Nikki. Of course, it was Nikki. So he goes over to Nikki and says, so this is probably worth what, like 50? She starts laughing. She said, no, this is $70. So I'm looking at it. And then here comes a wing that's all built, that was ordered in 2018, and the guy never picked it up. And it's still wrapped from 2018. And there's just a little crack on one of the tips. So now Kermit says, well, wait a minute, we can put a plane together for you. See, he doesn't want to buy it. He's arranging this for me. Then he finds a tail, and he ends up with a complete airplane for me. And he's a pretty good salesman. So he says to Nikki, so the fuselage, what would that be, 40? She said, no. And the wing could be 30? No. But I think I got the whole thing in a box for an Oriental for, I think, 70, maybe 75. And it's all just perfect. So I'm going to convert it and fly it electric. So it was kind of fun, doing that. It's just a great place to be. My only regret, I never got to the museum. I've been there before, but I wanted to see it again. So the last thing I did, there were a bunch of us that stay. The contest is over Saturday. Probably, it's normally about 2:00, but this year we got through maybe at 1. And that was fun. That was great. A lot of good awards. Will and I, some of the Philly Flyers, and a few other people. Kermit and his wife stayed Saturday. And then we all have pizza together in the garage with Buzz and her sister. And it dawned on me, I may never be in this backyard again. So I took the golf cart, and then 2 guys got on. They said, where are you going? I said, I just want to see the property one more time. And it's a little nostalgic. It's a beautiful piece of property, and there's one of these years, if it isn't next one, will be the last one. And I just wanted that image of what the place looks like. And Buzz says, I have heart issues, and let's just see how the year goes. So, good time. Looking forward to the Nats. I'll do my best judging. This is my third year, I think, judging advanced and open, and twice before I've done, the top 5 on Saturday. So I'll do my best to do that again.
Bobby McDonald and I are going to do the appearance pointing.
Yes. Yeah, 2 very competent appearance judges. Absolutely.
Well, you got somebody different than Bobby and I?
Well, last year it was myself. Yeah, last year it was myself and Bob McDonald. And I told him I would do it again this year. Then I said, no, I better not, because if I'm going to flight judge, I don't want to appearance judge. It's open to criticism, and I don't want any of that for.
What? And don't worry, we'll get plenty of criticism.
There you go. Yeah. So I've done enough talking. Thank you, guys, and I'll stay on here.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're going to switch over to the after party for those who are watching on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And if you'd like to join the after party, you got to be a member on Stunt Hangar, and you log in. And Gary is going to be your moderator. So I'll see you tomorrow. Fair winds, tight lines. See you.
Thanks, Sparky.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay, them guys, YouTube is over, and Gary is now the moderator. Let's see.